Have you heard the latest? The Maple Leafs are facing a tough blow as a key player is now day-to-day with an upper body injury. This could change everything for the team as they gear up for their next match. Will they be able to hold their ground without him? Stick around to find out how this might impact their playoff run. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button to keep your finger on the pulse of all things Maple Leafs. The news about Matthew Knies being day-to-day with an upper body injury certainly puts a damper on the excitement surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's tough to see a young talent like Knies sidelined, especially after he was starting to find his groove this season. Knies got hurt during that unfortunate game against the Columbus Blue Jackets, where he took a heavy hit from Kirill Marchenko. We all know how pivotal every game is, and losing him for the matchup against the Ottawa Senators is a significant blow. Now, the absence of Knies might open the door for other players, like Bobby McMann, to step up. McMann was seen skating on a line with Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner, which could be a golden opportunity for him to prove himself. But let's be real, can McMann fill those shoes? He's going to have to bring his A-game if he wants to make an impact alongside those two superstars. Knies has had a history of injuries this season, and throughout his career. Remember that controversial hit from Zach Whitecloud back in November? That kept him out for over a week, and now here we are again. It's disheartening for a player who was thriving with 18 goals and 13 assists so far this season. He was on pace to break his personal scoring record, and it just feels like we can't catch a break. The reality is, injuries can derail a player's momentum, and it's frustrating to see this happen to someone with so much potential. The Maple Leafs are currently sitting in a strong position, 3 points ahead of the Panthers in the Atlantic Division. But every game counts, especially as we head deeper into the season. The team needs to maintain its momentum, and losing a player like Knies could shake things up. I can't help but wonder how this will affect our chances in the playoffs. The chemistry on the ice is crucial, and when you have players rotating in and out of the lineup, it can disrupt that rhythm. And let's talk about Knies' contributions when he's actually in the lineup. With 6 points on the power play and averaging over 18 minutes of ice time per game, his presence is felt. His plus-minus of 2 might not be ideal, but he brings a dynamic energy that can change the course of a game. You have to wonder how long he'll be out, and what that means for the team's strategy moving forward. So, what does this mean for the Leafs? Do we think they've got the depth to overcome this challenge? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, I believe in the depth of this roster and the ability of players like McMann to step up. But on the other hand, Knies is a special talent, and losing him isn't something you just shake off. The coaching staff has some serious decisions to make in the coming days, and how they handle this could really set the tone for the second half of the season. And you? What do you think? What are your expectations for the team in Knies' absence? I want to hear your opinions down below. Are we going to see McMann rise to the occasion, or will the lack of Knies be a significant setback? This is the time for other players to step into the spotlight, but can they deliver? It's moments like these that test a team's resilience and character. Josh Leivo is making waves in the KHL, and it's hard not to reminisce about his time with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Drafted in 2011, he had a tough road in the NHL, bouncing between several teams and battling injuries that kept him from sticking. But now, he's thriving in the Continental Hockey League, leading the league in both goals and points. With 37 goals and 58 points in just 43 games, you can't help but wonder if this resurgence could open the door for a return to the NHL. I mean, do you think he has what it takes to break back into the league? Honestly, I'm torn. While his success is fantastic, it's a reminder of what might have been for him in the Leafs. Then there's the ongoing chatter about Ryan O'Reilly. He's been linked to a possible trade back to Toronto, but let's be real here, don't count on it. After a brief stint with the Leafs last season, he signed a 4-year deal with the Nashville Predators. Although Nashville hasn't had the best season, the logistics and costs associated with bringing him back make it seem unlikely. Maple Leafs analyst James Myrtle discussed this on a recent podcast, highlighting the team's limitations in terms of trade assets. With promising prospects like Fraser Minton and Easton Cowan, plus a first-round pick in 2026, it's clear the Leafs aren't in a position to make a splash. Now, don't get me wrong, O'Reilly is a great player, but given the current landscape, I think the Leafs will likely play it safe at the trade deadline. It's frustrating as a fan, but perhaps it's the smart move for the long-term health of the team. And you, what do you think? Should the Leafs take a risk to bring back a player with O'Reilly's pedigree? Or is it better to hold on to those assets for the future? I want to hear your opinions down below. Shifting gears, let's talk about Easton Cowan, who has been making headlines for all the right reasons. He just tied Mario Lemieux's record for consecutive games with at least 1 point in the Canadian Hockey League. That's incredible. 61 games in a row. While his streak spans 2 seasons, which might disqualify it from official recognition, it's a significant achievement nonetheless. Cowan was a surprising pick for the Leafs at 28th overall in 2023, but his fearless and energetic gameplay has silenced critics. With his continual development, Cowan is positioning himself as a potential black ace for the Leafs come playoff time. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Lemieux is a legend, and Cowan has a long way to go to reach that level. However, this comparison speaks volumes about his potential. For fans like us, seeing a prospect with such promise can ignite hope for a brighter future in Toronto. Can you imagine if he turns out to be a future star? It's thrilling to think about. And let's not forget about Matt Murray, who's back from the AHL. After a stint with the Toronto Marlies, he's shown that he's healthy and ready to contribute. His stats have been impressive, boasting a 1.68 goals against average and a .934 save percentage. Yet, despite his return, he's expected to play backup to Joseph Woll, who has solidified his role as the Leafs' main goalie. It's a good safety net to have, especially as we head into a crucial part of the season. But here's the burning question. Is having Murray as a backup the right move? Given his experience and championship pedigree, he could be a vital asset if Woll struggles. I'm excited to see how this plays out, but I also worry about the pressure it might put on Woll. So, as we look ahead, it feels like the Toronto Maple Leafs are carefully navigating a tricky path. The potential return of Leivo is enticing, but we have to consider the bigger picture with assets like O'Reilly and the prospects we're nurturing. It's a balancing act, and I'm eager to see how it unfolds. What do you think? Are we heading in the right direction, or should we be more aggressive in pursuing trades? Join the conversation in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all things Toronto Maple Leafs. Activate that notification bell to get all the latest updates.